What's up? I'm Crash Numbers, or just Crash. This is Gex free deep cover Gecko. No wrong warp. So, the goal of this run is to beat the game as fast as possible without wrong warping into the final boss, so we actually will have to meet the 30 remote requirements to unlock res. So each level has 4 remotes. Remotes are like stars in SM64, the main collectible of the game. There are 3 hidden in each level, and then 1 you get from collecting 100 fly coins, which we don't really care about any of those because those take way too long. So first remote, if I can get this tail bounce, get up here. You're not supposed to be up here, but we get up here anyway, and we're already out of bounds. And this will take us to the final area of the level. Normally you're supposed to be on a snowboard here, but we aren't. We didn't go for the loading zone to be on the snowboard, although you can skip it either way. So first remote, we have to kill these snowboarding elves who normally have really horrible hitboxes with the snowboard, but since we aren't on the snowboard, they're a lot more manageable. I guess they're RNG, but they're so easily manipulated that it doesn't matter. Like, I just do the same movement every time and get the same results, so it's a pretty straightforward remote. The big deal with this level is that there's nothing particularly hard about it, but it is very easy to bleed time everywhere. Whether it be missing the elves, or messing up the manip, or missing these presents coming up for the next remote, where our goal is to kill Santa Claus. That's how we get into the Christmas spirit, and if you can't tell by now, this is a Christmas-themed level. We are about 10, 11 days, I think, too late. I can't count. I don't know how many days are in September, apparently. But it's never too late to celebrate, I guess. You know, Christmas in July and whatnot. So these presents have really horrible hitboxes, so it's important to find a consistent way of hitting them. I just kind of go to the side. Some people will tail bounce them. Either one works. Whatever works best for you. So hit Santa 3 times. Didn't get the cutscene skip. It doesn't really matter if I get the cutscene skip there. It doesn't save any time. It's just swag, I guess. That's obviously not intended. And it is always tail time. Tail time is eternal. So we're gonna get one more remote here. The main gimmick of this game, of this series rather, is that everything in the game is based off some sort of TV or movie reference. So like every level is based on some sort of genre parody, like this is a Christmas level, the next one's a detective themed level, there's a pirate level, there's even an anime level later on. Spoilers. Gex is kind of a relic of its time, you could say. Kind of the pinnacle of a game that people would bring up to prove how much of a 90s gamer they are, and I missed the platform there, which isn't very good. Shouldn't be missing that, but what can you do? Okay. I didn't go into the water, I guess. That's good. So, the objective for this remote, which I've already finished, is to create 5 ice sculptures of yourself, Gex. Almost made that. That's a really precise tail kick. I almost never get it. Also, try tail kicking without momentum. This game has momentum, where when you start moving, you move slowly. And then after about half a second, you start running. And when you're running, you can tail kick, which is the fastest way of moving in the game. Or deadly karate kick, as the game calls it. So that's totally Scrooged. There's another level here in Mission Control, Clueless in Seattle, the detective theme level I mentioned earlier. And this is going to be the introduction of a series staple called TV canceling. Basically, it is a way of grabbing remotes without being forced out of the level. And you can do some interesting things with these TV cancels. There's a few different methods of TV canceling. The first one I'm going to try here is a deaf TV cancel, where I will deaf abuse above the button of the TV, and my corpse will fall on top of it. So I'll grab the remote, die, and then respawn in the level. And this gets some very extensive use throughout this game. So I need to take damage because, like I mentioned, death abuse. And that's it. There's actually a very consistent setup for that. The path I take is technically longer, but either way you have to wait on the bear, so it doesn't really matter. I missed that. This remote, normally you're supposed to unlock a Dracula outfit that you can unlock in the hedge maze. I actually walked right past the statue you're supposed to hit, although you couldn't see it because of the camera. But it's really slow because there's a forced cutscene, and you don't need it either way. So I'm gonna get this extra life because there are plenty more TV cancels later down the line, and I need the lives to death abuse. We're wasting time now to save time later. So I mentioned there was a Dracula outfit in that level. There's also one here in Mission Control, and it lets you glide around, and you can do some interesting stuff with it, which I'm about to do. By the way, I held start there to completely skip a cutscene. Anyway, I can go up here, and I can take advantage of this slope here in the wall to get out of bounds. And then, if I drop for a bit, I literally count the seconds in my head as I drop, and then fly for a little longer. Eventually, we will reach the end of the tutorial section. Going through it the intended way normally has a whole bunch of mandatory dialogues and cutscenes, so this out of bounds saves a ton of time, as you can imagine. So that's Mission Control. Up next is Lake Flaccid, and I would like to remind everyone watching no premarital gex is allowed. That's this game's sense of humor, sadly. I'm not particularly fond of the direction they pushed gex in for this game, but what can you do? So up next is Holy Moses. This is the first really problematic level of the run. I'm going to go for a one cycle here, meaning I'm going to get all 3 remotes in one visit, and I'm going to do this through the magic of TV canceling. So the first objective there is to collect the 3 staffs from the mummies. I got a quick hit there, so I don't have to sit for the animation, where the mummy just kind of spins like a tornado. And then the next objective, you have to kill these 3 Anubises. I don't know the plural of the word, and I probably will never know. Although that Anubis in particular, you have to kill if you want to just progress through the rest of the level. And I didn't get a tail kick there, oh well. So, now I can keep going through the level. The interesting stuff will come in a bit. You just gotta take care of some more stuff. I don't get why this ant is here. Or spider, I guess it is. I don't know why I call them ants. But it's just more of an obstacle that's just there. So we go here for the next mummy. And I'm gonna go for an animation skip as well. That was a damage boost, by the way. Very minor, but it's a thing. So I just kind of moved to manipulate the camera to skip the tornado animation. I hate that section so much. Alright, here's where things get interesting. So they made this camel, and the camel exists for just this one room of the game. Kind of useless, but we can give the camel much more use. So we can just kind of jump along some slopes in the wall like here. And I tried turning my camera too soon, so now I'm losing a bunch of time. Trying to go fast only punishes me. Thanks, Gex. So the camel can glide, kind of, and I'm dropping a lot. Oh, that's not good. Okay, that's really bad. Yeah, you have to get a good rhythm with keeping the camel in air, because you can just keep jumping to maintain your heights, but sometimes the camel just doesn't like to cooperate. Like, I can do the same thing every time, and the camel just doesn't want to agree with me. Like here, I'm doing nothing different, and you see I'm maintaining a lot more height. It's just a matter of pressing X at the right time, I guess. So we're going to use this camel to TV cancel, but very important coming up is this causes the depth planes to be raised, and that's going to be a huge problem coming up in a bit. where there's going to be another Anubis I have to kill. And I'm going to be on a bit of raised land. The problem, though, is that around me, where the Anubis is on, like the plane the Anubis is on, is the death plane. So if I touch where the Anubis is, you can see what I'm talking about, I will die. So I gotta be very careful. It's not the hardest thing, but it can be a problem. Sometimes it'll just screw you over. So, I mentioned deaf TV canceling earlier. This is going to be a new method of TV canceling called tail whip TV canceling, where you can tail whip before you land on the button as a means of canceling being forced out of the level. And what's interesting about the tail whip TV cancel is you can actually chain your tail whips. The problem, though, is that you have to tail whip, do a new tail whip as soon as the previous one ends. The tail whip has a 9-frame window, so you have to tail whip every 9 frames. Now, I'm going to do 2 back-to-back TV cancels. The first one is not a problem, because I can just tail whip back onto the camel. The second one, though, because the game's going to want to force me out the level, I will have to throw myself onto the button and do a frame-perfect TV cancel. So that one is super easy. This next one, though, is frame perfect, so... And it also saves about a minute. Alright. So that loses about a minute. There's not a whole lot you can do. You can either just mash, or you can try to time it. But, you know, it's frame perfect. Game runs at 30 FPS, so it's not as bad as if it were a 60 FPS game, but it is still a pain. I should also mention this is the PS1 version. This game's also on the N64, and we treat both versions as separate categories. There's enough... Generally, N64 is faster, but there's enough differences between the two versions, enough variables that it warrants being separated. And that's good, because the N64 version sucks. I'm just gonna be honest, it's a horrible port. It's burdened by unbearable lag, and in some places, the game can actually outright lag itself to death. There are a few other differences, though, but this is, I guess, the objectively better version. This version is also pretty laggy, but nowhere near as bad as N64. At the very least, I've never gotten any sort of random crash in this game. I have in Gex 2, though, but that was only ever once, and that's like a freak occurrence. All things considered. Because these games are actually surprisingly stable. At least the PS1 versions. Thanks, game. Yeah, the climbable walls in this game do not like to cooperate with you ever. So... up next is another level that's broken in a very similar way to the previous one. Instead of a camel, though, we get a donkey in this level. But we also go for a 1 cycle there. Waiting for the day I don't get my momentum dropped on that tail kick. So, this is a Western-themed level, the Oregon Trail. We get all 3 remotes, but it's still a relatively short level despite that. Also, I really hope you appreciate these sounds. The donkey is actually slower than just tail kicking, though, but thankfully the donkey will respawn throughout the level, and we can use the donkey to TV cancel. I want to check how many lives I have. Alright, I'm good on lives, although I will get some backup lives. Because, well, actually I don't need to, but I'm going to play it safe just because this is a marathon. And this run already does kind of suck, even besides the missed TV cancel in the last level. So, slope jumping. Not the most well-made level, because of how easily sequence breaked it is, or broken rather. So, very similar to the TV cancel you saw in the last level. I need to death abuse as well, so I want to take damage. And because of that death abuse, obviously it is faster to get back here, but on top of that I can do the easy tail up TV cancel onto the donkey rather than the frame perfect one. Alright. I'm gonna do a safe strat here, where I will death abuse and then get an extra life. Just to make this section a lot safer, because normally what I would do is I would not death abuse and then just go straight to this remote. It is about 2 to 3 seconds slower, but it saves a life, which means I'll save more time than I lost with a TV cancel later on. But the problem though is that since this is a marathon run, a resetless run, I will throw myself onto that button, and I don't want to risk missing the button and crashing the game. By the way, these minecarts, the cycles are camera-based. So you can just manipulate them, which I did kind of a poor job on the last one, but the other two were fine. So that's the Oregon Trail. Up next is the Army Channel, War is Heck. This is a fairly straightforward level, although there is a TV cancel in it as well. So, first objective is to destroy these 3 tents. Well, 5 tents, I don't know why I said 3, I can't talk right now. Can I get the swag damage abuse? No. I've messed that up a lot. The idea is to take a hit while the cutscene plays, so I don't waste time with damage animations. And I do need the death abuse coming up, so that's why. So next remote is to destroy these searchlights. This is a fun remote to optimize. I kind of wanted that grenade to damage me, but oh well. This is a fun remote to optimize, but it can be kind of a pain. Alright, hit me, thank you. Oh, wrong button. I don't know why I pressed X instead of square there. Alright, this movement might look a little awkward, but it's to manipulate a grenade, which I will use the TV cancel, so that's why this camera angle is all wonky. Make a wide turn to avoid a mine there, so I don't die. So we have to destroy that thing. It looks like kind of like a Magnavox Odyssey 2 cartridge. And then there's the grenade I mentioned. Easy TV cancel, it's just an audio cue. And I can go right around the corner to this remote. One more remote in this level, though. So, the next objective is to terrorize a town and destroy all of its buildings, or at least some of its buildings, for some bug crates that we gotta squish. And it involves riding around in a tank, because army. Should also mention the voices. Gex is kind of notorious for being a wisecracking, obnoxious character who never shuts up and is constantly spouting a bunch of pointless and outdated references, but you can turn his voice off and it actually does save time throughout the run, because normally he would pause before going through a TV every time to say something, but we can turn off his voice before the run starts and it saves quite a lot of time throughout the run. So that's War is Heck. There's one more level here in Lake Placid. It's the Buccaneer program called Cut Cheese Island. Because fart jokes, I guess. This is also the first level that we only get 2 remotes. Actually, no, I lied. Clueless in Seattle, we only got 2 remotes. I guess I'm still not used to this route somehow, but we also only get 2 remotes here. So they made this really long and elaborate platforming section that you're expected to go through for every remote. And I just messed up the skip. But you can just skip it all. And then kind of a precise tail kick coming right here. You got it. So there is another TV cancel coming up. I should still be good on the cycle. Okay. Yeah. So normally you're supposed to go into those holes in the floor, but we can just go to the side instead, and that'll skip a cycle, although now it doesn't matter because that's not where I wanted to take damage, and because of that I can't make it there. So I had to wait there. So the time saved from going to the side is now null and void because I messed up. So this TV cancel method involves manipulating this parrot, and I get it consistently in practice, but I just kind of have a bad track record of messing it up in runs, and I got it. So one more remote, you saw me walk right past the TV, so I just gotta take the same path. Made the same mistake as last time. Now I'm making more mistakes. Yeehaw. I'm surprised that worked. Alright. Oh. Where's my tail kick? Tail whip. You can't tail kick the barrels because they won't activate, so you gotta tail whip them. So, we never have to actually fight the boss of Lake Flaccid, we can just skip into the next hub. And I'm also going to save warp. Not only is it faster to get back to mission control this way, but it also restores your lives back to 4. Which is very, very helpful for a lot of the TV cancels and death abuses coming up. So like I mentioned, we can just skip straight into Slappy Valley, the next hub. Like that. Yes, this is the Gex. Alright, so there's a faster route you can do, and I'm messing this jump up. It's not hard, you just need to be neutral when landing and doing the second jump. But I'm going to do a slower route because it's way safer, because the faster route requires a 1 cycle or else you lose a ton of time. But speaking of 1 cycles, if I can get this tail bounce. Okay, that should have been it, but I turned the camera like an idiot. There we go. Alright, so speaking of 1 cycles, this level. So very recently, and by very recently I mean like about 2 or 3 months ago, a new method of TV canceling was found called the slide TV cancel, where you do the slide animation onto a button, and you can either jump or crouch out of it. And it really changed this game. It made a lot of previous TV cancels that were already doable a lot easier, and it also makes some TV cancels, like the ones in this level, actually RTA viable. But this level, oh boy, there is one TV cancel here in particular that is a massive pain, but there is one coming up right now that's not as bad. I'm glad you can make it, and good to hear that you caught the donkey at least, the best part of the run. So, slid too early. There it is. That's slide TV cancel. Now, there's also another way you can do the slide TV cancel by sliding off the top of the TV and onto the button, and this method is very beneficial because you can get extra height out of it, so it'll make this TV cancel coming up a lot easier. But it's still a gigantic pain, because not only if I miss it do I lose a lot of time, but if I do get the TV cancel but I don't fly far away enough, and I don't get off the platform at the top, then the game can crash, because I'm too far away from the TV. So when I get there, I will actually save, just as a safety save, before doing the TV cancel. But first, I gotta destroy the three little pigs' houses, because fairy tales. This is a fairy tale themed level, by the way. And we're gonna destroy these houses in reverse order, because it is faster. And you don't need to kill the pigs, although they can damage you for whatever reason. Alright. So Death Abuse to get back up here. And now I'm gonna go to the top of the beanstalk and do this TV cancel, hopefully at least. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It made this level a lot more interesting, but it also made it a lot more annoying, because now it's an actual reset point. So I'm gonna safety save, just in case. And that's why. So I have to reset my console, because that's a game crash. That was a very unoptimal TV cancel. I didn't get the height that I could have gotten. I could have saved it with a frame-perfect tail whip, but obviously I didn't get that. So that's gonna lose a lot of time. So that's what I mean by this level being a pain, because obviously if I were to do that in an actual attempt, I would just reset. And being a little over 20 minutes into the run, it's not too fun to reset over. But that's what it is with Gex runs. All these tricks that lose a ton of time if you miss, and I don't know why I'm doing so horribly with this jump right here. It's even worse than the 100% categories. Pain in the Asteroids, good reference. A reference to a reference, I guess. Haha, because Gex is nothing but references. I should have 4 lives, right? Yes, 4 lives. I'm not gonna go for it again, although I will do another TV cancel. That's a name of a level in Gex 2. Alright, so... gotta do this again. Wasting a lot of time, but... like I mentioned, failing these TV cancels are just so punishing. That's how it is with running this game. Like, you fail all these tricks, and it is honestly pretty discouraging. But when you do get them, it's so satisfying. Like, when things go right, it feels so great. And that is, I guess, the main benefit of running these games. I would recommend you buy this game. It is a pretty good game. I personally prefer Gex 2 as, like, a general game, but this is still a pretty good game. Actually, no, I should not do this. Okay, I did it anyway. Normally, with that other TV cancel you saw me fail, I would fall down to that button and land on it and then leave the level there, and that would be it. Normally, this split takes a little over 4 minutes from leaving Cut Cheese Island to finishing this level. You can't make it up there as far as I know, by the way. If you can, then it's incredibly difficult. But this segment's about to take almost 9 minutes because I lost so much time crashing the game. Alright. So, I alluded to this earlier, but I have a very important question to ask everyone watching. Who here likes anime? Because if so, you're in luck. There is an anime-themed level in this game. That's a really tight tail bounce, and I usually don't make it. But this level is called When Sushi Goes Bad, and it is the longest level in this route. Normally, well, optimally, you would swap this level out for the Mythology Network, which is supposed to save about a minute, but like I said, it is a very risky route and not marathon safe whatsoever. So this is also a really interesting level as in a run, because of the out of bounds you can do. And you can see how it kind of messes with the textures, and you'll really see the effects of that coming up. So, this is an anime-themed level, but it's a very 1990s US-centric definition of anime, so it really only amounts to mechs and schoolgirls. And for whatever reason, the hitboxes on those mechs can just stop working, and there's nothing you can really do except to wait it out. It's a very unfortunate time loss. This remote also features death abuse, so I will take damage. Oops. Okay, that was kind of dumb. Can I get the cutscene skip at least? No. Darn. What I tried to do was tail kick away from there before the cutscene activated, so it would skip the cutscene. That one's pretty easy, actually, but this cutscene skip is very hard. Not this cutscene, but this one coming up. It's the same idea, but you have to get even farther away and basically delay your tail kick as much as possible. It's really dumb. Alright. So, coming up on the end of this remote, normally you're supposed to hit that switch to the right, but we can just tail kick through these barriers. And there's the death abuse. So, you saw with that remote, the textures not loading properly. You know, they're still there, but they're invisible. And you're gonna really see the effects of that on this remote. So, the out of bounds is basically the same exact idea, just to the left side. This level is divided up into 3 sections, one for each remote, and you're basically required to go through each and then backtrack back to the beginning. And I actually got that without a ledge grab, which is very good, so you're gonna see this effect linger on for pretty much the rest of the remote. That is unfortunate. This is the only remote in this level that doesn't have a death abuse, so... So the objective is to destroy the 5 rogue mechs, as the game calls them. I don't know why these mechs are rogue and the others aren't, but whatever. For whatever reason, the cutscene here kind of glitches out the audio, the song that plays. This is probably also the most fondly remembered level and most fondly remembered song. The level itself, honestly, isn't the most well-designed, but the song is pretty great. This glide isn't really that hard, but it is made hard by the fact that you can't really see where anything is. So just tail kick back here. Unfortunate that my camera got caught on the wall, but that happens in this game. So one more remote. Sadly, this remote goes up instead of down, so we can't do any cool out of bounds with it. There is a clip at the end of it, though. And as I mentioned earlier, this remote also has a def use at the end. You're gonna see these fire spinners, and then on the next 2 floors below me, you'll see bombs dropping as well. The flames here are the most efficient way of damage abusing, because you don't have any animation stunning you or whatever. You can just keep on trucking. None of these cutscenes you can skip by like pressing start or anything. Which is kind of annoying. I don't know why this game is so selective on what cutscenes you can skip and which ones you can't. Suboptimal, but oh well. Now I'll need to take one more hit here. And then here is the clip I mentioned, which is pretty precise, actually. And I get it first try, nice. Alright, one more cutscene. And then you see that barrier on the outside. You can't see it from inside, but it's still there, so I can just def abuse with it. And then just go here for the last remote of this level, and we are finally out of Anime Land. And that's it for Slappy Valley. We also don't have to fight the boss here. I'm going to do another save warp. It may or may not be faster. It might be slower, but either way, we get lives back for more TV cancels later on. So even if it is slower, we more than make up the time later on. And if it is slower, it barely loses time. So it's way better to do this than to just get lives throughout the rest of the run. So if you remember with the Rec Room OOB earlier, I'm basically in the same method. There are a couple of clips you can do into Funky Town, but they're very difficult and inconsistent. In fact, there's one in particular that I sometimes get on accident when going for this jump right here. Very rarely do I get it, and it's usually not helpful at all, because it's usually when I'm doing the Rec Room OOB or I don't make it into the loading zone. Alright, so Funky Town. So this next level features another one cycle and is kind of a pain also. Like, this level in general just is a very tough level, even without the TV cancels, because it's so easy to take damage. But there's one TV cancel in particular that's kind of a problem, and by kind of I mean quite a problem. So this is the Gangster TV, My Free Goons. So this level lags a ton, by the way, and in the N64 version, there's a few spots where the game can literally lag itself to death. The N64 port is not very well made, as I have mentioned earlier. I didn't want to take another hit there, but whatever. So I want to lure this guy over here and tail bounce on him to get over this wall. And then the first objective here is to burn 5 bundles of funny money. Counterfeit money, as I have been told what that means. So you can shoot through this fence to get those 2 bundles there. Get the fly, thank you. I'll need this fly for this next section coming up. Alright, so it's very easy to take a hit here. And honestly, I'm still not entirely sure of what to do here ever. Hit me, thank you. Alright. So there's another TV cancel coming up, and I'll be completing 2 objectives at once. This TV cancel is actually really easy. It used to be tough, but then we found out that you can crouch to TV cancel, so now it's very easy. So first objective is to destroy these 5 barrels of root beer. I don't know why it's root beer and not like actual beer. I mean, it's not like it wouldn't be allowed in this game. It already has a T rating and is loaded and rich in sexual innuendo as well, but I guess alcohol is too much for this game. So the last root beer barrel will be after the TV cancel coming up. I tail bounce here to not take damage. And then the next objective is to free Cuz. And this actually allows you to play as Cuz in the secret TVs, which we don't do any of them in the run. And it's nothing more than a skin change, really. But it's there. And then one more fairly precise tail bounce to end the level on. Doing kind of a bad job. Like I mentioned, this tail bounce is actually pretty tough. That should be it, yes. This could have been a best seg had I not spent so much time on that tail bounce, but it's the name of the game. Alright, one more level, one more one cycle. So up next is the superhero show, Super Zeros. And there's a lot to this level, actually. And being right at the end of the run doesn't really help matters, because it is a tough level. But it looks very cool when done properly. Hopefully I will be able to do it properly. So, first objective is to kill these 3 stray cats. Poor kitties. Don't know why we have to kill poor defenseless kitties. Bubbles would be highly ashamed of us. And you all should be ashamed of us as well. But it's a fast remote, very fast remote actually. We complete the objective almost immediately, as in right now, but we actually don't get the remote until the very end of the route. And also a lot of lag in this level. These rats are annoying, and they can knock you off if you get hit by them, so be careful. Alright, so there's a chicken outfit right here that lets you glide around. Normally I have to kill these 3 enemies here, and I'm gonna get this life down here for safety, but normally I have to kill these 3 guys you see there to unlock the chicken outfit, but we can just death abuse and it'll open up on its own. And yes, this game is very laggy in general, but some levels are way worse than others. So we can glide around now. So next objective is to kill these 5 convicts who have escaped and are now throwing dynamite at you. And speaking of dynamite, I missed that. Sad. But speaking of dynamite, next we have to kill the Mad Bomber. This remote's pretty similar to the Santa remote in the beginning of the game. Except the bombs are a little more awkward to work with. Even just a slight change on the trajectory can really, really screw things up. That was dumb of me. You can take your time, but that's obviously very slow, like I just did there. That was really dumb. There we go. Just to make sure I have all the momentum I need. Alright, now we just gotta kill the rest of the convicts, and then we can do TV cancels. Yeah, the route looks weird at first, but it all makes sense at the end. Kind of the same deal with Holy Moses earlier. And really any level with a weird one cycle to it, that's unfortunate. I'm actually gonna safety save, just to be safe, obviously. Just to avoid any sort of risk of crashing the game. I don't know why I did that. Alright. This TV cancel is very awkward to work with. I didn't even get a slide. That's not the worst thing that can happen, because the Mad Bomber remote isn't the longest, but that's still very unfortunate. I'm more mad that I didn't get a slide at all, rather than just outright failing the TV cancel. Yeah, but still, that's very unfortunate. Alright. So that'll lose about a minute and a half, I want to say. Whereas if I were to fail that first TV cancel, I would lose way more time, because the 5 convicts remote does take a bit of time. Okay, that was really close. I mean, to be fair, this run does kind of suck, but it's hard to ask for better in a marathon, and I'm kind of doing a bad job with the Mad Bomber here. I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm glad that made it. It probably shouldn't have, but again, glad it did. Alright. Play this section really safe. Oops. And that's 30 remotes. So all that's left is the final boss, and there is a level that accompanies the final boss as well. Timing my tail kicks, because why not? This level is kind of troublesome because you can die at pretty much any point if you're not careful. Like, trying to do everything optimally isn't too hard, but scary. So normally you're expected to ride these elevators, but you can just go on these walls. But I don't go all the way to the top, I just do this. We gotta hit these free switches before we can actually fight Rez. And then this skip is a little harder. Alright. The camera angle there makes landing a little awkward for me. Alright. You can get a cutscene skip there, but it's very difficult. By kind of tail kicking away from that. And we can go up here and finally fight Rez. Now, Gex 2 is notorious for Rez being RNG based, but thankfully there is no RNG to this fight. And in fact, there's actually strats you can do to speed it up. I'm not going to be doing the fastest strats because I'm not too good at them, but I will be doing decently fast strats, which involve jumping at the right time to skip the hits that Rez does on you. Alright, that worked out, thankfully. Darn. Okay, that's really unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Alright. Almost at the end here. Hopefully I can get the last skip. Oh, that can happen as well. Alright. Should still be underestimate. That's... this fight sucks. Okay, optimally you would actually have him hit you the first time, because the animations are shorter. He only hits you 3 times instead of 5, but yeah, this has been really unfortunate. Classic Rez choke. Why did you not hit him? So yeah, losing even more time. Okay, I'm just tilting now, honestly. Every now and then I gotta choke Rez big time, it happens. Get the fly, thank you. Okay, hopefully this will be it. If I die here, that's run over, by the way, because game over is run over. Which I didn't. Alright, and a lot of lag. I can't do lag reduction immediately because of that. Anyway, that is time. 54:26. That's really bad. But again, time losses in this game tend to be very big. So I'm just gonna skip to the actual ending this song, just for the sake of time, because of how close to estimate I was. Quick shout-outs to the Gex community for being very supportive and really helping do a lot for this game, especially in the past year. This game has come a long way, even after I submitted to AGDQ. A lot's been found in this game, and speaking of which, I will be running this game on AGDQ on the final day, 2 a.m. Eastern Time, roughly. So catch that if you care. Thanks for having me. Up next, I believe, is Link to the Past, no major glitches, so thank you for having me, thank you for watching me.